Hi Laura, my name's Nick. Chris has passed me along your details, and as I understand it, you run an eco-friendly travel agency called Green Travels. You're looking to get more clients. You're not that sure about using social media effectively as well as Google Ads, and you're potentially interested in getting a new website as well. So thanks for getting in touch. These are your details here. So greentravels.com.au is your website address. So you've got the navigation menu here at the top right. You've got a nice picture here. There's a little bit of a blank section initially, and then you've got a little bit of an explanation about sustainable and eco-friendly travel, knowledge, packages, and a price guarantee. Frequently asked questions, how to get in touch, and then some nice photos and some links to social media and email address and phone number. So you've got sort of, the bare bones of website here. There's a lot more you could potentially add in terms of improving your fortunes in terms of the Google rankings, which we'll get onto a bit later on. And the way I'm going to do it is really just to sort of show you what your competitors are doing and what your potential clients are going to see as well. So one good thing is you've got your Facebook page set up. Obviously, it's all the same logo and pictures, so you can recognize the brand. The last update was on the 6th of September. So obviously, if you can add some more images here and some more content, that would be great. You've got some likes, you've got links and phone numbers. So it's a very well completed Facebook page. But the one lacking thing is you need something that's a bit more recent so that anyone landing on this page can see that it's an active company. But it's good that you've got everything set up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine I'm one of your potential customers, and you have to kind of get inside the head of someone who's looking for your services. So I tried different search terms. This allows me to search for a specific search query, in this case, Eco Travel Australia, using Australian English as the language and the location of where you're actually based. So this is sort of someone potentially who is searching in your current location. And the reason we do that is we get different search results based on the location of the person searching. So the first search I did was actually eco-friendly travel. So this is what the search looks like. This is page 1 of Google. And I just wanted to show you the difference between these different search terms. So the first thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to scroll to the bottom of the browser and show you that this is the location that the browser thinks we're in. So that's relevant. We've got adverts here at the top, and I know you mentioned Google Ads, but if you see the kind of people advertising, this is sustainabletravel.org. This isn't an Australian website. This is a foundation. These sort of travel guides, and then another foundation. So you can see there are no travel agencies that are advertising here at the top. And also, in general, although adverts get you quick results, they can end up being very expensive in the long term, and you're constantly going to have to keep a budget for advertising if that's the way you end up getting the best results. So that's just something to bear in mind. Then we've got sort of top 10 tips. So there's a lot of sort of blog type articles here from some very established websites. So this is just to give you an idea of this term here. So eco-friendly travel on its own isn't a very good keyword to try and rank for, because it's very, very competitive. The next one I looked at was eco-friendly travel agency. Again, scrolling to the bottom, we're in the right location. So this should prioritize results from not only Australia, but the immediate vicinity of where you're based. Again, we've got the similar sort of ads at the top. This is now an Australian ad because we've specified a travel agency in Australia. But again, this is more about learning about eco-friendliness, and Earthwatch as well is an advert. This looks like an American website. I'm just going to scroll down and see what I can find in terms of Australian websites. So we've got ecotourism.org.au. So this is a powerful website. And I'm really looking for travel agencies. So Green Loons is a travel agency, but it's not Australian. And the first one that we find here is actually autopiatours.com.au, and it's Eco Tours Australia initiative. So these are the first people that are in Australia that are selling, that are a travel agency selling tours, and they're ranking for this term, eco-friendly travel agency. So that's just something to bear in mind. This is their website. So this is autopiatours.com, and as you can see, they've got quite a lot of content here. There's an initiative, there's a certificate here. It's quite well laid out. They've got lots of articles here. It's very, very content rich, and Google really likes that. The other thing I want to show you is when you go to Our Tours, they've got all these location pages, and they've got a lot of detail. So all these different tours are available to reserve. So they've gone into a lot of detail about each location. And when we go behind the scenes of the website, we're going to see why that makes such a big difference. So just look at the number of pages, look at the content. I'll give you the example of Wikipedia. If you try and Google anything, you want to find some information, then Wikipedia comes up pretty much always near the top. And the reason is that it has so much content, literally has tens of thousands of words on each page. And Google really treats that as an authority on the subject. So Google is seeing this website and it's saying, wow, you've got, just for Melbourne, you've got all this content. So this is why this website is doing so well. One of the reasons it is anyway. So the last search term, which is the one I put in here, Eco Travel Australia, is the most kind of specific and relevant that I could find. Obviously, if we did this for you, we would go into a lot of detail about the best keywords to rank for, but this is just to give you an idea. So now we've got some other websites. We've got some ads. This one's coming up a lot. We've got the ecotourism.org. Now this website here, greengetaways.com.au, I would say is probably your closest competitor for this term, Eco Travel Australia. And their website looks like this. So they've got Green Getaways, Find Your Perfect Experience. I would argue that it's not as nice as this one, Autopia Tours, but nevertheless, it's very powerful. It's ranking. There's still a lot of content here. You can see just scrolling down the page, and then you've got all these different locations. So it appears that locations and being specific is quite important in terms of ranking. So like I mentioned earlier, we're going to go behind the scenes and see what's happening in terms of the back end of these websites. So this is your website. I'm using this tool called Ahrefs, which allows us to analyze the metrics of the website. So this is greentravels.com.au. So your meta title is Travel Packages, Let's Plan Your Next Global Adventure with Green Travels. Although that's very nice, it's sort of catchy, but it's not telling Google anything about what your agency actually does. And when we look at your competitors, we'll see why. This is the URL rating and the domain rating, and these are Google's assessment of the trust value and the authority of your website. So we've got no data and zero. That's basically one of two things. The first thing is it could well be that your website is very, very new and it hasn't had a chance to gather this data. But just having a quick overview of your website, you can see that there isn't enough content to drive these factors up. Backlinks are links from other websites to yours, and they act like votes. So if you get a link back from a very powerful website to yours, it's a very strong signal to Google saying that your website is actually worth taking a look at. So you want the number of backlinks to be high. So these are the keywords that you're currently ranking for, and that's what we're going to look at. So we want to know what you're actually ranking for at the moment. So you're ranking for Backpackers Travel Agency, Whitsunday Green, Price Beat Travels, Green Travel. So this is fairly relevant, but you're ranking on position 49. So you're on page 4 or 5 of Google. So your website's not going to be seen at the moment. And that's for a search volume of 70 queries per month. East Coast Packages Australia, fairly relevant, but low search volume. Your highest search volume here is 700 per month for Green Island Tours. But unfortunately, you're on position 86. So unless someone clicks to page 8 or 9 of Google, they're not going to find you. And this is for your Whitsunday Island page. So that's just to bear in mind where you're at now. Let's have a look at your competitors. So the first one is Eco Tours Australia. This is Autopia Tours. So Eco Tours Australia, this is relevance. They're doing tours. It's ecotourism. So this is telling Google what this is all about, and that's why they're ranking so well for that. And one of the factors they're ranking so well for. you can see immediately here the metrics here, they're out of 100. So the URL rating is 11, the domain rating is 37. This goes all the way up to 100, but realistically, anything above 20 or 30, and you're going to be doing really, really well. Look at how many backlinks they've got. They've got 700 backlinks, and they are ranking for over 4,000 keywords, and they're generating a revenue of organically of nearly $1,000. It's American dollars. So let's have a look at their keywords and see how they compare with yours. So they are ranking for Pinnacles Tour, position number 4, page 1. They've got 300 queries a month. Perth to Exmouth Tour. So these are very, very specific tours that are ranking for. But look at this, Ecotourism Australia, 400 queries a month, and they're position 7. So they're absolutely killing it for a really, really strong keyword. But all these other things that they're ranking for, you know, Perth to Monkey, MIA, all these tours that they're ranking for, they're getting a lot of search volume, and they're ranking really, really high up on Google. So this is where they're getting all their customers from. And going back to their website, you know, you can see how much content they've put on. These are all the things they're ranking for. This is why they're ranking for very, very specific things, day trips, short breaks. So their customers can come on here and find exactly what they're after, and they're getting a lot of traffic. Let's look at the other one, Green Getaways. So best of Australian ecotourism accommodation. So again, we've got ecotourism, Australia. These are all relevant compared with what we had with yours, which was a bit more just for a one-liner, just a sort of catchy one-liner, which it sounds great, but like I said, we need to give Google the information. So look, travel packages, doesn't say anything about ecotourism here, doesn't say anything about Australia. So we would word that specifically to get the traffic from Google. But going back to your second competitor, so Green Getaways, you can see how strongly they're ranking here, thanks to their UR and DR. Again, loads of backlinks, 10,000 keywords they're ranking for, and you can see how much work's been put in over the last few years into getting their website ranked so highly. So we're just going to take a quick look at the keywords that they've got. Okay, that's taking a little bit long. Let me try refreshing the page. Anyway, I think I've had a slight malfunction here, but I think you kind of get the idea. This is what we're looking at, the number of keywords, and what that traffic value is worth. You know, that's worth $10,000 a month in traffic value, and PPC is pay-per-click. So this is how much they're spending on Google Ads, and they're not spending anything. They're getting all of their traffic organically. So here we go, glamping New South Wales, glamping, romantic getaways. Look at the search volume they're getting from that. I mean, this is absolutely phenomenal, and they're doing really, really well. They're on page 1, they're position 2, 1, 6. They're all of these search terms are on page 1. So you can see this is kind of the goal. The goal is to be, whether or not it's the same market you're after, but you can see the numbers here. The numbers are absolutely staggering, and this is why they're ranking so well. So the idea would be basically to emulate them and do it even better than them eventually in the long run. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what's out there, who your competitors are, and you know, we can go through in a lot more detail the steps that are needed to get there. But we'd love to help you, Laura, and if there's anything we can do, if you'd like any other information, just reach out to Chris and we'll put something together for you. So thanks very much for listening, and have a lovely day.